Hi, my name is Bruce Fertman and I'm the founding director of the Alexander Alliance International. Today I'm going to read to you about the top 10 best kept secrets about the Alexander Technique. 1. The Alexander Technique did not originate from a vocal problem that F.M. Alexander was experiencing as a young actor. It was a problem of performance anxiety. So the Alexander Technique is really a study in how we deal with fear. 2. Alexander trained teachers in two ways. From roughly 1900 to 1930, Alexander had students who studied with him often and informally. They became his assistants, remarkable teachers in their own right. These teachers were never certified. They didn't complete a formal teacher training program. It wasn't until Alexander was 60 years old that he started a formal training program. Legend has it that he was not crazy about the idea, but that John Dewey convinced him to do it. He based the structure of his program not so much on what he thought would be the best pedagogically, but on what was legally required at that time to become a school in London. 3. Apparently, according to Jeremy Chance, founder of Direction Journal and a historian of Alexander and his work, Alexander was known to have said that, quote, institutions cannot hold the truth. He insisted on there being no professional societies formed around his work. Of course, soon after he died, STAT was created. Same old story. Power struggles over the rightful heir to Alexander's work. 4. Alexander did not call his work the Alexander Technique. He called his work the work, because he didn't know what to call it, or what it was exactly. He strongly believed that he was opening up a new field of research, and that he was simply a person beginning an inquiry into human nature from a unique perspective. He would have been the last person in the world to want his work codified in any way. 5. Alexander said to his students time and time again, quote, do not teach as I teach. Teach what you know. He would implore his students not to imitate him like little monkeys, but rather to rediscover the work for themselves and to impart it to others in their own way. Unfortunately, there are a lot of well-meaning teachers out there busy imitating Alexander, using outmoded procedures and archaic language in an attempt to teach what Alexander taught in the way that he taught it over 100 years ago. Alexander was an original thinker and a teacher, and any imitation of him is just that, a mere imitation. 6. The Alexander Technique is not body work. It is not about the body, per se. Alexander often said that his work was about readiness. He said, the way you could tell that a person was truly in touch with his work was by 3 criteria. 1. The person would be able to assimilate new ideas quickly. 2. The person would be able to adapt rapidly to changing situations. And 3. The person would be original. No mention of the body in and of itself. Alexander worked through the body to get to a person's being. The work is about being, about how we are. 7. If the Alexander Technique is not body work, then it is certainly not about posture. In truth, the Alexander Technique is about unposturing in the most profound sense of the word. It is about living your life without posturing, without putting on a front, without faking it, without pretending, without being superficial, which means having the humility to live in a fluid state of not knowing anything for sure. 8. Rumors fly within and around the Alexander world that Marge Barstow, the first person formally certified to teach his work, did not train Alexander teachers. let's set the record straight. Marge had apprentices much the same way Alexander did between 1900 and 1930. She didn't run a formal training program. She did write a letter clearly stating the names of 26 of her students who she felt possessed a clear understanding of Alexander's work. When people would ask her whether she formally trained Alexander teachers, she gave one of three answers. 1, Alexander was the only person who ever taught the Alexander technique, and he will remain the only person who will ever teach the Alexander technique. 2, no, I don't train teachers. I help people become sensitive, and whatever they do with their sensitivity is their own business. And 3, I love this one. No, I don't train teachers, but many of my students have gone on to become excellent teachers of Alexander's work. She gave us, her students, the credit for becoming good teachers. 9, here's the truth. Alexander himself would not be able to join the largest professional society for the Alexander technique, STAT, because he was not certified to teach the Alexander technique. He never completed a 1,600-hour teacher training program. That would apply as well to his many excellent apprentices, to Marge Barstow's excellent apprentices, and to a good number of independent, gifted Alexander teachers in the world. 10. Life existed before Alexander was born. In fact, Alexander did not invent anything new. He discerned certain truths about human nature. He was, in essence, an ethologist. He studied animal behavior from a biological perspective, and he was very good at it. But he went one step further than observing us and observing himself. He evolved a means for helping himself and for helping us. And for that, I will be forever grateful.